Alright guys, welcome back. This is an example of how to do a problem like number 4. It should be pretty straightforward for you guys since you guys have already learned about z-scores, but just as a reminder, it's okay if you forgot. So this is just like number 4 with different numbers. So we're given that their mean amount of trash is 2,000 pounds, mean amount of trash per person, and that the standard deviation of this is 150 pounds. So if you guys remember, we can calculate z-scores by using the equation for z-score, which happens to be z equals the actual value, which we write as x, minus the mean, which is 2,000 here. In symbols, we write it as this little mu symbol. It looks like a U. Mu of x. And then over divided by our standard deviation, which again is this sigma symbol that looks like an O. So for this first problem, this mimics your worksheet. It wants you to find the z-score of 1800, and it's pretty straightforward. We just want we want z, just to remind ourselves, it's of 1800 is our x values, so we're going to put that in there. So we use our formula here, and we're just going to do the same thing. Z equals 1800 is our x. We know that our mean is 2,000 minus 2,000 over 150, which is our standard deviation. We're given that, and we just simplify. Equals negative 200 over 150, which happens to be negative 4/3, which is negative 1.333, and so on. So that's how we find that first one. Pretty straightforward, and the same process holds for the rest of these. So now we want to find the z-score of someone who throws out 2,000 pounds of trash. So we write again, z 2,000 equals, and then we use our formula again, 2,000 minus our mean, which is 2,000. Some of you might already be able to see what's going to happen here. Divided by our standard deviation, which is 150. But this standard deviation actually becomes irrelevant because our top two numbers are the same. 2,000 minus 2,000 just equals 0. So 0 over 150 is just 0. And the z-score is 0 because it's exactly where the mean is. So it is neither better or worse than average. It's just 0 standard deviations from the mean. That can trip people up if you're overthinking it, but just use your formula and trust your formula, because there's a reason that we give it to you. Finally, our last one, you guys should have the process down by now, but if you don't, it's fine. Z of 2250 equals 2250 minus 2,000 over 150. If you do your math there, you get 250 on top, 150 still on the bottom. This is equal to 5/3, which is equal to 1.666, repeating. So that should be pretty straightforward. You guys should be able to recall that. These are just some practice problems which will set us up for our next video, which is how to use these to calculate normal probabilities.